welcome back to Concert Critiques in Cars with Emily. So this show I was really excited about. This is my 30th time seeing 21 Pilots, so I was maybe even a little skeptical as to what to expect and if they would be able to wow me, especially because this is the 5th time I've seen a show on this particular tour, the Bandito tour. But yeah, so let's get into it and see if they actually did something different. So the show was at the Royal Farms Arena, which I had never been to before, but it was in Baltimore, and so I kind of knew where I was going for the most part. I parked in a different garage, which I'm chilling in right now, so we'll see how the exiting of this garage goes. So far, it's not moving, but that's okay. That gives me more time for you guys. Anyway, so let's get into it. So Misterwives opened, and they were okay. I definitely couldn't hear some of the lyrics at times, and I'm not gonna lie, when they first started playing their first song, I was like, are they playing My Body? I mean, this is fantastic. And then they weren't playing that, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it would have been really surprising if they had played a cover song to start with, but they were not, and they didn't, so that's fine. So then after that, I actually really liked the second song. I liked it. It was a little bit quicker notes, so I thought that was really nice, and I really liked that. Then she had a wardrobe malfunction, which I felt terrible about. So I guess she felt like her top was kind of revealing her undergarments. So she actually had to go to the side of the stage, take off her shirt, and the saxophonist gave her his jacket. So that was pretty random and definitely something that did not happen at every show. So after that, they played a Lizzo cover. Not a fan of Lizzo cover. I just wasn't a fan of it. Not my song, but it was definitely a crowd pleaser. Everyone really liked it. Then after that, she asked the crowd to sing, or like to repeat after her and to sing this during the song. And there were no words. It was just oohs, and it was like really high notes, and it just was kind of like, it was not a very effective strategy. And I don't think anyone really was into that song or really even kind of played along with her, so that was kind of awkward, actually. So yeah, that was a little bit weird. And then after that, they actually had to pause because someone in the pit had fainted, so they were very respectful and they paused. And then after that, she was like, okay, well, I feel like we're gonna play one more song. So yeah, so that last song was really actually quite cool. So at one point, she kind of brought in the instruments instrument by instrument by saying things like, all right, give me some bass, and then the bass would start to play. Now some guitar, and then the guitar would start to play. So that was actually really cool. I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool thing. So then once they brought it up, they took it back down, and as they were taking it back down, everyone but the drummer and the trumpet player lay down on the ground or on the stage. So that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool way to end the show. It was definitely a song that grabbed my interest just because of the things that were going on the stage. So I think overall, I mean, just the things that they had to deal with was pretty impressive, and the fact that it was, again, pretty entertaining. I just wish I could have heard her lyrics more, because it was really hard to hear lyrics for some of the songs, especially when she was singing faster, and I like faster lyrics, so I was disappointed. Okay, 21 Pilots. All right, so they definitely had this like light show at the beginning, which I don't remember from the previous other shows on this tour in particular. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please let me know, because I don't remember the light thing. So that was definitely different. And then the curtain drops, and they played Jumpsuit. The car that he like gets like brought up on was on fire, which is not anything different. They did the confetti during the bridge, but this time it was so weird. So they dropped the confetti, and the lights on the stage were like red, and there was no light on the crowd. And so I felt like it kind of lost its effect. So I was a little bit like, I kind of feel like the light was in the crowd a little bit, at least a little bit more. So that was a little bit strange. But of course it's Jumpsuit, so it was a super fun song to dance to, and like just, it was really fun. Then they played Levitate, and there was like this great pause between one of the verses, and it was just so fantastic. So he kneels down on the stage, pulls out a tambourine from under his coat, which was also laying on the stage, and yeah, so then they go right into Heavy Dirty Soul, which was super, super fantastic. And so up to this point, Tyler has his mask on the whole time for the first 3 songs. Usually he is found somewhere in the crowd after that, and I was kind of expecting that tonight. But so he So they play Heavy Dirty Soul. They let the crowd sing the bridge and the chorus, which was awesome. And then he just like whips his mask off right in the front of the stage. So that was definitely a twist. And I liked it. That was good. It was a good change. I was glad to see that they were not going to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I was excited about that. Then they played a video of their fans standing in line and showing them their like homemade gear and merch, or their homemade shoes and jackets and stuff like that. And then they started singing Hype, the people on the video, and then they came out and continued that song and played Hype. So that was pretty good. Then he talked, so also in the middle of Hype, he gets thrown the ukulele from off stage, and so he from like the front of the stage, so he gets thrown the ukulele, catches it, plays the ukulele. After Hype, he talked about how when he first got a ukulele, he had no idea how to play it. He only knew how to play one note, and then he taught himself the chords, and he wrote a song for his mom using the ukulele, which was House of Gold. So seeing that again after a really, really long time of not seeing it was super exciting. So I was really glad they did that. And I just love the subtle changes, and the way he sings the bridge is so, so good. So I really, really liked that. After that, they played Lane Boy, which was pretty much exactly the same. They had that like mechanical introduction with the guy speaking. He told the people to get low, get low, get low. The dancers come out with the masks on, and then Josh has like this awesome, incredible drum solo. But the only difference was there were fireworks at the end, which was like, woof, that was different. So yeah, they were just like poppy fireworks, but they were definitely there, so that was definitely different. So then there was a transition and an outfit change, and he came out with a bass and the red vessel hat. Wow, I'm red blurry face hat, sorry. And started doing like Bad Boys for Life on the bass, and went right into Stressed Out. And he jumped off the piano for Stressed Out, which was great. Then he went into Heathens with a piano introduction. So at first you can't really tell it's Heathens, and then it goes into Heathens, so I liked that. And this time they had like Roman candles going off. It was just a lot of more fireworks than I expected, for sure. So that was pretty cool touch. Again, something a little bit different, so I liked that. The only thing I would have suggested, so the flashes were green and red, and I just wish they had gotten purple, because then it would have been very heathensy. But I mean, again, it's fireworks in a closed building, so I guess I can't really complain. Then they played Nico and the Niners, and they paused and they asked the right side of the room to move 2 steps to the right, the left side of the room to move 2 steps to the left. And then Tyler went into the crowd, and so they had set up a yellow like catwalk basically, or runway, I guess, on the floor in the pit before the show. And so he walked to the back of the stadium where the smaller stage was, which is again traditional 21 Pilots to go from the front stage to the backstage. And he asked the crowd to take a seat, which okay, we'll get to that in a second. And then he played Smithereens, and he changed the one line like he had in the past to Baltimore, so I thought that was pretty cool. And he talked about how it was for his wife. And halfway through, Josh came in on that same stage with him on the drums. And then after that, I was so mad that I was told to sit down, because I don't understand why you would play these 2 songs and expect people to be seated for this. But the songs were fantastic. So they played the first verse and chorus of Migraine, which I haven't seen in so long, live. So it was just so good. It was so great. And then they played like the ending of Tear in My Heart, like the chorus and the bridge, and then like the whole end, and it was fantastic. And I loved it, but I was so mad I was sitting down. I just wanted to be up and rocking out. And so that was a little bit disappointing, that I felt like I needed to be respectful and sit down. And then after that, they played Bandito, and I love the way that he changes the singing in Bandito. It's just such a good touch, and it's so fantastic, and I really, really love it. So then after that, he tells everyone to stand up, and they start playing Pet Cheetah. And there's a line about wanting to stop time, and so they kind of just stopped the music, and then he was so they stopped the music, and then he sorry, I can actually move now. So anyway, he stopped the music, and they went from the backstage, and both him and Josh watched the front stage, and then they finished that song. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm not the biggest fan of that song in general, but seeing it live is always pretty okay. Then there was another transition where the stage was dark, and you had a different type of music just being played. And I should have known, because I know this sound. It wasn't even music. It was just like that sound. And I should have known that the sound is what the song is, like the prequel to. And so I was mad at myself that I didn't figure it out sooner. But then it was Holding On To You. And so, as always, he went out into the stage, which was awesome. So I really liked that. Anytime he goes out into the stage, it's really cool. Sorry, out into the crowd, not the stage. So yes, he was on the stage for like most of the show, but sorry. So he goes out into the crowd and has the crowd hold him up for the first verse of Holding On To You. So I really liked that. And then of course Josh did his backflip and Tyler jumped off the piano like he always does. And so they like end the song, and then the stage goes black for a second, and then they do like a slower ending to the song. So they did that as well. So again, can't complain. Love seeing that song live. It was awesome. And then after that, the Misterwives trumpet player comes back on and started playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which was really impressive, really cool. And then there was definitely another song that I didn't recognize. But then after that, Josh and Tyler come back on the stage and they play Fall Away from start to finish. Fall Away. I love that song. I was going crazy. I could not believe that they were playing that song. Of all the older songs to play, they chose to play Fall Away. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was so happy. And it was just so fantastic. And then they ruined it by playing Cut My Lip. And I was so disappointed because I don't love that song. And it was just... oh, I was just so pumped. It was like, oh my gosh, they're playing Fall Away, and then they played Cut My Lip. But when they played Cut My Lip, all of Misterwives came back on the stage. So that was cool. They all, even the female singer sang one of the verses, and so they were all together. And they even had some choreography towards the end. They did like a little kick line. And so yeah, it was definitely interesting just why right after Fall Away, because for me personally, that was just like a huge moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're playing Fall Away after all this time. And now it's Cut My Lip. And again, listen, people were going crazy for Cut My Lip. So I understand that that's like just my opinion. And maybe other people would have been like, I don't know this other Fall Away song, but this Cut My Lip was great. And it was great. It just could have come at a different time. Anyway, so then Tyler sat down in the front of the stage. He had like this little mic on this like mini stand and a little like baby keyboard, and he started playing Ride in this like crazy, weird but wonderful way. Like so fantastic. It was like slow and totally like didn't even sound the same. It was just very different but very, very good. So yeah, I really liked that change. I thought that was fantastic. And then after he played maybe the first, definitely the chorus. He played one of the choruses and maybe the bridge. If not the first verse and the chorus, they came back on stage and they played the song in full. So that was really cool. I really liked that. I thought that was a really interesting way to start the song Ride, and then I was glad that they finished it on the stage. So that was awesome. Then they played My Blood, which I love. Love that song. And then they stop in the middle of that song and they do right side sings versus the left side sings. And then he says, okay, so you guys are going to sing. Left side's going to sing, right side's going to sing. You're both going to sing together. Then Josh is going to bring it home with the drums. When Josh does that, I want you to dance. And then he makes the security guards give us examples of dancing. So the first two were great. The third guy did not do great. And Tyler was like, well, so you had 3 good examples. Well, 2 good examples. So that was kind of funny. He was kind of poking fun at the one security guard who was not that great at dancing. That's a lot of pressure. And then, of course, the end of that song is just super fun after all of that stuff. So yeah, so it was really great, and I liked that. And then towards the end of that song, they shot out string confetti, which was a really cool effect. It really looked awesome. And some of it ended up like being stuck on the lights. And so I don't know, it was just really cool. I really enjoyed that song overall. And I thought that the string confetti was a really good touch. Then they played Morph. And so they got the crowd held drum kit right before the bridge, I guess, or towards the end. And first Josh played the 7 Army Nation drum beat and then played the end of Morph, which seeing him do that on a drum while it's being held up by the crowd is pretty fantastic. I really, really like seeing that part of the show, and it's really great. So then after that, they went into car radio, and Tyler runs to the back and stands on the pole that's in the back and towards the end of the song. But this time there was a difference, so I was really excited. So I have seen car radio 30 times. I think they've played it, every time I've seen them, they've played car radio, and every single time he goes up on the little podium, does the thing, and then at the end he throws his mask off. Well, this time there was like smoke that came like up the podium, and then he pulled it off while the smoke was there. So when the smoke disappeared, his mask was already off. So that was, again, just like a randomly cool touch. Again, after seeing it 30 times, you're like, oh my gosh, something that's different. So that was great. I really loved the difference. I thought it was fantastic. Then after that, they did the Truce karaoke video that they've played before while they were coming back to stage and getting ready for the next song. So again, I've seen it before. It wasn't, I didn't really love it the first time. I don't really love it now, but I get why they do it. And if they had to do anything, I'm glad that it's one of their songs and not something random. So it was fine. And then they played Chlorine, which didn't really have a lot of changes or anything super different from the version that's recorded. But again, I was okay with that. I love that song. It's super fun to see live and super fun to dance to. And so then after that, they started playing the music to Trees, which always happens, and Tyler always says something during this time period. And so this time he talked about his grandfather who passed away last year, and how they used to play this game with, I guess when he would eat an apple, he would finish his apple and say apple core, and someone had to say Baltimore, and then the grandpa would ask, who's your friend? And then the person who said Baltimore would get to respond, and whoever they said, the grandpa would throw the apple core at. So he made us do it, and so he said apple core. So he ate an apple and had the apple core, and he goes, okay, so I'm going to say apple core, you say Baltimore, and then I'm going to say who's your friend, and you say Josh. So we did that, and he threw the apple core at Josh and hit him, and then he was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. It's just supposed to be a fun thing. So again, that was just something that's super cool and something that definitely does not happen at every show. So I really liked that, and I thought that was a really cool touch. So that was awesome. And then they played Trees, and Trees is fantastic. And they did the dueling drums thing and the end and the confetti, and it's just really, really a fantastic song to see live. Jumping up and down, so great, so fun. Loved every second of it, as always. And I love that they end with that song, and so it was great. All right, so this is really tough. I really don't know score-wise what I'm going to do here, because the last time I saw 21, this time that I saw 21 Pilots, I think was better than the last time I saw 21 Pilots, and definitely better than the time before that. So now my problem is, do I give them, I mean, that last score was like a 9 point something, so do I give them that high of a score, or do I have to take all the other things into account and just kind of like reset and have this be a separate thing? I don't know, tough choices. I think, sorry, I really am having a tough time. I think I'm gonna give this one a 9.5. Loved Fall Away, loved Migraine, loved Tear in My Heart. Hated that I was sitting down for Migraine and Tear in My Heart. So glad I was not sitting down for Fall Away, although if Fall Away was played during the sitting down part, I would have had to stand up because it's just so good. So I was super, super glad with the old school songs that they brought back. Even House of Gold was fantastic. I haven't seen that in a while. I do wish that I could hear Misterwives better, so I think that was definitely not a super great thing about that particular opener. But I do think they handled themselves really well. They had a lot to overcome this show, so I think that they did that like remarkably well, so definitely got to give them some credit for that. But yeah, and then Lane Boy, I just wish they would take it out of the rotation. I've seen it so many times, and again, I know that not everyone has seen 21 Pilots 30 times, but the Get Low thing, I don't know. Loved the story about his grandpa. Yeah, I think a 9.5. I think I'm going to stick with that. So let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Were you there? Did you want to go? I would love to hear what you thought. And so comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.